Hey everybody, thanks for hopping on with me today, or for watching later if you're on the recording of this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jesse Hill, and I'm the president of Tier 3 IT Solutions. And today we're just going to spend a couple minutes talking about, really the threat of phishing attacks and the idea of safeguarding your business against them. So the first thing to start off is really talking about what is phishing. And I mean, the basic definition is that it is a deceptive communication, typically where they are impersonating someone else. They have a malicious intent and it is action oriented. So, what I mean by all of this is it's an email, a text message, a phone call, a document, something that is pretending to be legitimate but is not. The goal is to convince you and trick you, or your staff or whoever's getting it into taking a certain type of action. Usually to click on a link and enter information, username and password. We often see that the phishing attacks are trying to create a sense of urgency or a sense of reward, that if you do what they ask quickly, you have a better chance of reaping whatever that benefit is. Typically, it's financially related. Could be something saying that they're a buyer for a certain type of business and they're looking for somebody who can supply them a certain number of items within a certain time frame. And so I think you've all seen them. And really, the thing about understanding phishing is to understand why this is such a big threat to small and medium businesses. And I guess the first thing is it works. It is the number one, cyber type of crime that occurs is, various types of phishing. And again, it could be email, text message, social media. They now are starting to do more of it by phone, by using voice simulators and those types of things. So it's continuously evolving and becoming more convincing. But the thing is that a lot of small and medium businesses, they aren't aware of the risk. They don't have the cybersecurity, budgets and protections that large businesses have. And so they are a very attractive target. Even if they only get $5,000 or $10,000 out of a specific attack, that is a significant amount of money. And we've seen attacks that have been upwards into the six figures. So the thing about small and medium businesses is that we have to be very vigilant, because we often don't have the same security budgets and tools that really large enterprises have. If you fall victim to a phishing attack, like we said, a lot of times there's a financial component where they will intercept payments that you've received or use the information to access a bank account and send your money other places. But the other thing that happens is an impact to your reputation as a business. And we're starting to see more and more client-vendor relationships where there are penalties for not protecting your network. And so managing that reputation after a breach can be a big problem. And we already talked about how a lot of small and medium businesses don't have the same budgets available to invest in cybersecurity tools, which means cybersecurity awareness needs to be a much bigger part of the strategy. So again, why small and medium businesses are targeted? Limited security resources. We've already talked about this. They don't have the funds, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the time, and until they've been hit, they often don't have the motivation to implement the security tools that larger businesses might have. Small and medium businesses also, even though they may not realize it, they have a lot of valuable confidential information. And what we have seen over the years is that these phishing attacks have become much more um, intentional, maybe is the word to use, where they realize that there may be a very large organization who they want to attack or disrupt or infiltrate in one way. But that large organization, they have the team, they have the resources, they have the protections in place. But what they can do, the attackers, is instead is they can compromise the vendors, the people that are supplying to that large organization. And so it could be that your small engineering firm is providing designs. It could be that you're an outsourced accounting firm and you are managing aspects of the financial systems. And you know so many of these businesses have these third party vendors who, if you infiltrate them, you can get the same quality of information as if you got into the really big guy. Again, we talked earlier about how staff awareness is a really big factor. Most small and medium businesses, again, they don't have an HR team and an IT team, and they don't have as structured programs around training and compliance. And I think that that's one of the reasons that we recognize the first thing that you can do as a small and medium business to protect your business is training for your staff. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it should be something that you're doing on a continuous, ongoing basis so that they are aware of what it looks like when a phishing email comes in and what to do and what not to do. So we've talked about the common, phishing techniques. They often are coming through an email. They try to mimic a legitimate source. So the body of the email will look like it's come from somebody that you might know and trust. But when you really start looking at the details, maybe it's the domain that they're coming from is a little bit different. Maybe the button that they want you to push on to go to something isn't quite right. And so email phishing is generally kind of a large scale, spray and pray type of attack. The more advanced version of it is spear phishing. And so spear phishing is when they're actually doing research and reconnaissance and they're designing the attack in a way that is specific to the individual. And you think about how much of our personal information is available online these days. It's easier today than it ever has been to create an attack that's designed for a specific individual. Smishing is, SMS, text message phishing. And again, I'm sure you've seen these. You get a text message from, FedEx telling you that a package is waiting to be delivered, or the Canada Revenue Agency telling you that you have a message from them. Always be cautious and leery of clicking on a link for something that you were not expecting. Particularly in text messages where we see they use a lot of link shorteners. So you're not really able to identify where that link is going to take you just by looking at it. And then the last one we talked about, phishing. So this is becoming a bigger threat with the rise of AI and voice emulators, where even just taking a video like I'm making today would give you the ability to create a voice synthesizer that would sound like me. And that can be a very powerful tool if you were trying to attack somebody. Of course, they can do it with anybody. They only need about 30 seconds of their audio in order to do that these days. So a couple of quick tips how you can spot a phishing attack. First of all, really pay close attention to the sender of the email. Look at the name and the domain. And often these attackers, they're going to the length of actually registering lookalike domains. What I mean by this is, think about Pepsi.com. Well, if somebody registered PEPSL.com, A lowercase l looks very similar to a lowercase I when you're just scanning it. And so they will go to that kind of length to try to conceal, the fraudulent identity. So really pay attention to that. If you get a phishing message, more often than not, they want you to do something, to click on a link and to go to a page of theirs. So take a look at those URLs. You can hover your mouse over it. It will show you where it's trying to take you. If the destination is different than what you would expect, don't go there. Browse to the web page directly through your browser instead. Or if it appears to be from a vendor or a customer or someone that you're supposed to trust, verify another way. Give them a call. Not the email or the phone number that's in the email, but the phone number that you have listed in your database. Watching for urgency in offers. People make bad decisions when there's a time limit. And so a lot of these messages will try to push you to do something faster than you normally would. Take a step back and just really think about why would they be pushing me to do this? Again, reach out, verify. And then looking for errors, poor grammar, spelling mistakes, wrong logos, wrong name in the greeting, all of these types of things are hints that it might be a phishing email. And so, I guess the important thing here is that you really want to make sure that your employees are trained regularly. I already mentioned this. It should be, small, regular, ongoing training sessions about all of the different aspects of cybersecurity. The second thing that you can do is you can implement email security solutions. So we want to make sure that you have enabled some key features and functions in your email service provider, like DMARC, SPF, and DKIM or DKIM, which are tools that add to the reputation of your email domain and can stop people from spoofing or imitating you online. You may want to implement in a email filtering service to filter out more of the junk mail. Although those are really challenging because it can also get rid of legitimate email. You always want to make sure that you've got your multi-factor authentication enabled, that you've got strong passwords, all those types of things. We've talked a couple times about running regular security audits, and this is something that when we talk a lot about our cyber insurance readiness, it's important for you to understand from an objective perspective the health and security of your network, of your email service provider, of all those types of things. And then the last thing that we have on here to help you prepare is to develop an incident response plan. Run a simulation. Put your people in a room and stand at the whiteboard and say, a key email account has been compromised. Critical information has left the business. We've just been notified that 25 clients received fraudulent payment requests from us. What do we do? And your team that's in there just starts talking it through and building your response plan. Your IT team will participate, but they are not your incident response plan. These things often expand beyond just an IT response. It requires management and legal and PR and forensics and insurance and all types of things. So the best time to practice responding to an incident is before a real incident occurs. Thanks again for joining. My name is Jesse Hill. I'm the president of Tier 3 IT Solutions, and we just want to help you become safer online. So if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. We'd be happy to help and to chat. And I'm glad you could be here today, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.